Hey everyone, Johnny here from OneStepForward.com. I'm in our villa in Lanzarote. I just wanted to give everyone a quick update about what's going on with our row, about the charities, about the concerns and anxieties and what we're looking forward to and stuff. So yeah, I was lucky enough to be part of this row since about October or November last year, and then I flew back to the UK for a sea survival course mid-December. And originally I was actually hoping that I would have Christmas with my mum and my sister and the extended family, and then nip over to Lanzarote for a week or so, and then we'd be off in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean already. But then the new UK strain of COVID hit, which meant all the flights in the UK were cancelled. Flights out of the UK were cancelled pretty much. Black sheep with Europe and all that. So that threw a massive spanner in the works. And then obviously Brexit rolled over January 1st. So that meant there was problems with getting the boat over, which was the rowboat that we'll be using was made in England by a company called Avon Marina. So that meant that they were struggling to get the boat into the EU. Now the UK was out of the EU. So anyway, it's been a bit of a nightmare. But finally we're in Lanzarote, and yesterday finally the boat arrived. So it's looking like it's actually going to happen. The provisional departure date, depending on weather and stuff, is March 3rd. So there'll be 4 of us setting off then, and we hope to finish, depending on weather and health and injuries and all the rest, around April 20th. So it should take 40 or 50 days. I think the world record is 40 days. We're probably more likely to be in the 50-day category. And now it's upon us. So how do I feel about it all? Pretty scared. If you follow my Instagram, you would have seen that once I got confirmed to be part of the project around October, November last year, I started taking some swimming lessons in Bangkok, in Thailand, where I live, because I can't actually really swim. I've never learned how to swim. We didn't have a swimming pool in my school or anything, and by the time my town didn't even have a swimming pool, by the time we had that built, I was already too old and off to uni. So I took some swimming lessons to try to, I don't know, obviously just try to swim, but to try to give me a bit of confidence in case I fall in case the boat gets flipped over or anything. But I only took 3. It was helpful, but I'm not about to represent Ireland in the Olympics with my swimming skills, so that's a bit of a worry. But I spoke to Billy, who's our skipper, the founder of Monkey Fist Adventures, which is the company that runs these things. And he said, well, yeah, it's not great that you can't swim, but to be honest, if something happens to the boat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, whether you can swim 100 meters or 5 kilometers, it won't help. So there's that, right? So that's kind of one worry that I don't have to consider too much. And then what else? So I wanted to help also explain to you guys how it actually works, the row. So basically, yeah, we leave March 3rd to April 20th, roughly 50 days, hopefully less. We leave from Lanzarote, which most of you probably know is there's a set of islands called the Canary Islands just off the coast of Morocco that belong to Spain, and that's where we are now. And then we're going to go right across the Atlantic Ocean, 3,200 miles, it's about 5,000 kilometers. And then we'll end up in the Caribbean, in Antigua, hopefully. And there's 4 of us, so we'll be working in shifts of 2. 2 people will row for 2 hours, while 2 sort out food and rest a little bit, try to sleep perhaps in the cabin, and then we'll switch. So it'll be 2 hours rowing, 2 hours resting, 2 hours rowing, 2 hours resting, for 24 hours a day for just shy of 2 months. So it's going to be pretty tough. You get blisters. I've never rowed before. I don't come from a rowing background. And I've just been on a row machine trying to condition my body and my hands for the blisters and stuff. So the boat just arrived, like I said. I think tomorrow might be the first day I've ever been on a rowboat. 5 days before we leave. But I've got a lot of time to get used to it when I'm in the middle of the ocean, so hopefully that should be okay. How do we go to the toilet? A lot of people ask me that when I tell them what we're doing. Obviously there is no toilet on board, so you use a bucket. So imagine that your 2 people are rowing. I think you probably go behind them, but I actually don't know yet. Position the bucket tactically as if it was a toilet. do what needs to be done, throw the bucket over the side, rinse it, back on, and you're done. So that's that. The actual cabin that we sleep in, 2 people will be sleeping in there at the same time. It's just a little bit bigger than a single bed, so that's not going to be very comfortable. And that's when it comes to like what I'm worried about and stuff. Of course I don't want to die, so that's number one. But I'm also worried about, like, I'm quite introverted a lot of the time. I really like to be on my own and like read books or go for a run on my own. And I like, when I sleep, I lock the door and like try to switch my mind off, and to have so little personal space. The boat is only, I don't know, 10 meters long, no less. It's small, it's tiny. So not having any personal space for those whole 50 days is a bit of a worry for me. Like, there's literally no time. There's not one moment that I'm going to be on my own, and that's a bit of a weird feeling. Also, of course, I'm worried about the pain and stuff, but I've been doing a lot of mountains and expeditions and ultras recently, so I hope I can deal with the physical pain. The worst pain is supposed to be on your bum. You get sea sores, so the sea salt, obviously you get soaked, the waves are hitting you and stuff all the time while you're rowing, and the salt crystals, when you dry off, still are like little shards of soft glass, and so they get all over your body and you're kind of raw all over your body, so that hurts. But they get into your ass and your butt cheeks, and then when you're rowing, your bum is constantly got friction on the seat, and then that creates sores. And then because you're constantly getting wet every time you're on your 2-hour row and the next 2-hour row and the next 2-hour row, it never gets a chance to dry, and then your bum just rubbing against the seat on the row eventually like causes sores. So that is supposed to be brutal, and that just gets worse and worse and worse and never heals until you finish. So you kind of just have to finish before that gets too bad. So that's not something to look forward to. Seasickness is another thing I'm a bit worried about. I've seen some videos of the Atlantic Ocean and it can get a bit choppy, so that's a worry, but we have tablets and stuff, so hopefully we'll just get through that. The team that we're doing it with, so Billy's the skipper, and like I mentioned, he's the guy he's rowed the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, and maybe the Pacific Ocean. So he's really experienced, which is great. And then we've got Martin, 62-year-old English guy, just sitting on the balcony out here, and he's had a life on the ocean, really. He was in the oil and gas industry on and off boats, and he sails a lot, and he's got a lot of experience. He never rowed an ocean true, but he knows his way around boats, and so that's great. And then for my British and Irish followers, you probably know Matthew Pritchard, certainly if you're my age, maybe if you're a bit younger or not, but he's the guy from Dirty Sanchez on MTV. And if you're Welsh, he's the guy who does Dirty Vegan now, a TV show. And he's a bit of a beast, actually. The days of smashing stuff over his head and stuff are gone. Now he's 48 and he's got into health and fitness a lot. So he's done triple Ironman and 10 Ironman in 10 days and ultramarathon. So he's a bit of a beast. So for sure he can dig deep. And then there's me, not really knowing what's going on as the fourth member. So that's cool, and we've been in Lanzarote all together now for 10 days or so while we get everything ready, and things are going well there. And that's another worry I have, because I'm kind of like an intense guy, and those guys are all really laid back. So if there's going to be any problems, I'm really scared it's going to be me that causes them, like snapping or whatever, because they're all lovely. So I'm going to really try to remember that patience, and so that's a concern anyway. And that's it really. So we're due March 3rd. Why am I doing it? That's a deeper question. We're having a documentary made about the row, mostly about Pritch, about Matt, coming from his Dirty Sanchez days, mental health and all this. And we've been interviewing us, and I did a big deep delve video yesterday about why we're doing it, what it means. Is it linked to having no father? What does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a success of your life? Why do you torture yourself when you're doing all these ideas? And maybe I'll save that for the documentary. That was a tough interview, and I've never actually reflected deeply on why I do these things, and it was tough and stressful. But on to the next one anyway. So we're about to go. The charities that we're supporting, I'll include a link to the blog post that I wrote when I got confirmed as part of the project, but we're supporting 2 amazing charities. We're supporting an animal sanctuary called Dean Farm Trust. Those guys are a beauty. So the boat is 100% meat free, one of the only boats in history to row across an ocean meat free, so that's really cool. And that's a beautiful link up with an animal sanctuary. So Dean Farm Trust will be aiming to raise $100,000 for. And second is a men's mental health organisation called Human, which is based in the UK, which has been born through the horrific statistics. 3/4 of all suicides are men. Deaths under 40, from the number one cause is male suicides. And now with COVID and lockdown and the economy, the statistics are only going one way, unfortunately. So Human offers spaces for men to talk about their problems, understand that we're not all alone, and it's okay to be stressed out and worry about things, but let's not let them get on top of us. So check out those. They do a really cool meetup online because of COVID on Monday nights that I've been a part of. So I'd really recommend any men out there check that out too. So that's Human. We'll be aiming to raise $100,000 for those guys too. So please check out both those charities. I promise we'll be suffering for every single dollar that gets raised. And that's it then. I just want to say big thanks to my Mrs. Ja for letting me do this. I've been away because of the delays. It'll be 5 months I've been away from Thailand. That's pretty brutal. And a big love to my sister, my mom, and all my friends that are following and supporting me, and all you guys. So thank you. Hopefully you'll be able to still follow on Instagram. I'm giving my details to the Monkey Fist team, so they should be updating daily on the state of the ocean, the state of our bums and the pain and the progress. So check out them, and check hopefully on my Instagram, they'll be on there too. And that's it, guys. So thank you very much. And the next video hopefully will be starting the row somewhere in the Atlantic. Fingers crossed, April 20th we'll be in Antigua drinking rum. Peace.